the Live Nourished Cooking Show where I make some holiday cookies. So today we are going to make the raspberry, I don't even know what they're called. What are they called, Dana? Raspberry
Thumbprints.
thumbprints. Okay. I remember I picked these because I remember having them when I was um, little and I had the box kind. I don't know if you guys have ever had that. They're so good. And I just like love the jelly in the middle. And so when I found these, I was like, I definitely want to see what these taste like. So I have made these recipes twice already. And I doubled the recipe the first time and they came out salty. And then I made them again the second time and I used egg. So if you guys have eggs, you can add it to the recipe. It's not necessary, but it definitely helps with consistency. So they come out pretty good without it. But if you like yours to not, if you like yours like a little bit more intact, I like to say, because almond flour can come apart a little bit. So let me pull up this recipe because I don't know it by heart yet. Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to double these recipes again because depending on how big you make the cookie, in the picture, they look pretty dang small. So unless you're going to make them like this big, then I would say stick to the normal recipe. But if you want more than like 6 or 7 cookies, I would double it. So that means I'm going to start taking out 2.5 cups of almond flour. And you guys can use any type of flour that you want. Coconut flour works great. Spelt flour. But if you want to stick to like a gluten-free, almond and coconut flour is like the best. And when it comes to baking, not like cooking, like you definitely want to get the exact measurement. Because I didn't do that the first time, and that's why they came out a little salty. So that's 1 cup. And I actually am going to get a measuring cup versus what I'm using. I remember like my first memories of baking were like in home ec class, showing you how to like measure stuff correctly. Okay, let's see. So this is my 2nd cup. You know, and I debated whether I should make the chocolate chip cookies or I even made some apple pie. And I had an apple pie recipe cookie. And that one looked so good. And I'm a huge apple pie person. But that one took like an hour to make. And I was like, this seems a little bit more advanced. And I was not prepared to be that advanced. Okay, so I did 2.5 cups of almond flour. Now, I am making some adjustments because, and I'll be sharing that, like I said, because I've made these before. I am using avocado oil because I'm personally allergic to coconut. So if you have the same issue with coconut, then you can use the avocado oil, and I like it because there's no flavor to it, and it works perfectly. So that's going to be 1/4 cup, so I'm going to use 1/2 cup. 1/4 cup. You can also use butter. There's nothing wrong with using butter. Butter is just, I like to do avocado oil. I have made cookies with butter, and I think that I think the adjustments need to be, or the recipe needs to be adjusted for butter because it can come out a little oily.
You're using coconut oil. Do you want to melt it down first?
Oh, that's a good question. If it's hardened, yeah, like you definitely want to melt it down and then measure it that way.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Are you using coconut, Anna?
I will be using coconut, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, got my avocado oil. Another adjustment that I will be using, instead of using maple syrup, I will be using honey. Hi, Shannon. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
Good.
Good. So I've already started. Do what?
I said this is my first one.
Woo-hoo!
Woo-hoo.
Welcome. Excited to have you. Okay, so I've already filled up my bowl with almond flour, and I made an adjustment. Instead of using coconut oil, I'm using avocado oil. That's
Okay.
just because I'm allergic to coconut oil, or coconut in general. Oh no, I can't open this honey.
Shayla, I don't think we have can you give me the measurements and I'll put them in the chat just for like that way if someone joins a little late, it's easy for them to track that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be 1 1/4 cup of almond flour, 1/4 cup of coconut oil, 3 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, and 3 tablespoons of raspberry jam. So I personally like honey because I don't like my cookies to be overly sweet. But if you really like your cookies to be like, you like that sweetness, maple syrup's gonna be great. But I use honey. You can also substitute it for coconut nectar. Coconut nectar is a great low glycemic option, and it does taste really, really good. There's 2 types of coconut nectar. There's like an amber, and then there's another one, and they both taste different. Or you can also use coconut sugar, which is another low glycemic. Monk fruit is great as well.
Does that coconut nectar, I've never cooked with that one before. Does it change the texture of things much? If like
It doesn't.
Also sugar.
That's a great question. No, it doesn't change the texture. It's just like honey and maple syrup. Okay, so this one calls for 3 tablespoons. Okay. So last time I put 2 tablespoons of honey, and my husband was like, these are not sweet enough. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna do the 3. Oh, but I doubled my recipe, so
6.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need 6. It's funny, like when you actually start to like make stuff and like bake, you got to like see how much sugar certain certain things call for. Okay, so that's 2, 4. Shannon, do you have any major plans for Christmas?
We have 3 days of Christmas. So we have his family, her family, and the in-laws family.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's gonna be so exciting.
Yeah, so 3 days of Christmas.
That's so fun. I have 3 days of Christmas as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Family, family, family. So that's gonna be fun. Okay, I'm almost done. I have 2 more tablespoons of honey. So I was just telling Anna, I have Redmond real salt, and Redmond real salt, if you're not familiar with it, it has a lot of minerals. So it's way saltier than your normal like iodized salt or sea salt. And I doubled the recipe, and I only put like an eighth. No, I put a half teaspoon. And it calls for a 1/4, and my cookies came out so salty. they looked good and I wanted to eat them, and I would eat them and they're just like so salty. So if you're using Redmond real salt, you're gonna cut the serving, the recipe in half for that one. So let's take the salt. Well done. I'm gonna use
What kinds of things do you normally cook?
What kind of what?
What kinds of things do you normally cook for these meetings?
So last time, this is my first one cooking, but last time Hally made a quinoa dish and she made a mocktail with watermelon. Yeah. What did she make, Anna, last time?
Like it's like a Buddha bowl. It had like chickpeas, and there was a way to make it like either vegetarian or with like meat. And honestly, I don't know what happened, but for like a week, that was my constant craving. I ate like 6 of those Buddha bowls. Seriously, it was so good. I'm a huge meat person. You know
Yeah.
that like my body just does better with meat, but for that like week, like the seasonings of that, really good. And you're welcome to check that out, Shannon. Inside your membership portal, there's actually like a recording of every workshop we've ever done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so if you go back to July, that was the workshop, and the recipe for that, even if you don't watch the workshop, but the recipe for that was just so good.
That's right up my alley for the things I like, for sure.
That's perfect then. And I think it is for a lot of people. I just tend to be a much more meat heavy person.
Me too.
It's funny because I'm a meat heavy person, but my body loves it when I go veggie heavy.
Yeah.
My body definitely loves it digestive wise when I go veggie heavy over meat heavy.
If I don't eat, I get really bad headache.
Yeah. I still eat a lot of meat, just not as much as I would.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I love a lot of veggies, and I've gone vegan before, but my body was like, nope. And then I started to introduce more meat, and I was like, oh, I feel so much better.
Yeah. I used to always say I could easily be a vegetarian because I loved all my vegetables so much, but I couldn't give up steak and burgers and chicken and
Yeah. I am adding an egg, Shannon. I don't know if you're making these with us.
No, I didn't know until a couple minutes ago when I hopped on. I was first I knew.
That's okay. So I'm adding an egg to this recipe. And I've just seen that it just helps with like the cookie sticking together better. It does work without it. So if like for anybody who like finds out, oh, I don't do good with eggs, you can still do it without it, but I like the consistency it makes.
Right.
I'm gonna try mine without an egg so we can compare our consistency when we're done.
Okay. I make these healthier cookies, and last time I just kind of like balled them up almost like a meatball. Like I never flattened them. I was making some chocolate chip cookies from one of these recipes. And my husband was like, these look like biscuits. I was like,
I needed more butter so they would spread out.
Yeah. I was like, I probably should have flattened them. But
we have the oven on at a temperature
350. Yep. Yeah, and you'll get these recipes, Shannon, too. I have like 10 recipes in there, and they're all gluten-free, dairy-free, and most of them are egg-free as well. So there's some really cool, fun ones in there.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna taste this.
I normally never bake. I'm good at baking, but I never bake because if I don't have it, I don't miss it. But if it's there, I'll eat it. So I intentionally don't bake.
Yeah, I totally get that. I'm a cookie monster. One of my clients used this term, and I will forever use it. Cookies are my glutton button. Like, I could eat so many cookies. Like, I love cookies. They're just like the one thing, like, I can't make all the time, or I'll eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love cookies.
I'm that way about cookies too. Like any other dessert, I could say no to, but for some reason, especially my mom, when we were kids, made these really, really good chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah,
But, and if there's a
yeah.
chocolate cookie around, I'm like,
Okay, so last time I made these cookies like really big. This time I'm gonna make them about that size. And are you rolling them yourself with your hand, or do you have like a utensil?
I have been using a spoon, but I haven't started like
Oh,
rolling them out yet. But I used a spoon to mix them together, just because I'm not a super. This is
is
my
that
life,
yours?
but this is mine.
Okay. Okay, yours seems a little bit not as wet. Mine feels like really wet.
That's because the egg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You
probably
the
the
egg.
egg.
So that's gonna be the difference in consistency. So okay, yeah, I'm gonna probably keep it this size. In the picture, they came out like little buttons, like little button cookies. I like my cookies a little bit more meatier.
That's fun.
Yeah, yeah. Shannon, do you have any like traditions of food that you make during the holidays?
100% green bean casserole has to be with Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make it any other time of the year, but Thanksgiving and Christmas, we definitely have to have green bean casserole. And I have to remind myself how much I love it, and I can't wait for next year. Like it's something that's hard to make. I don't know why.
Yeah. I tried this Thanksgiving to make green bean casserole like healthy, and so I sprinkled almonds on top instead of like
Hmm.
the French stuff.
Yeah.
No,
No.
girlfriend. Mm-mm.
No. No.
Didn't work out.
It did not work out. I was like, this does not taste the same. So I was like, I'm just gonna do with the fried French stuff and just taste better. Some things you just cannot healthify as much, and that's okay. It's meant to be
Right.
just the way it is.
Well, and
But
moderation is key. So you don't have to modify everything you eat, but
Yeah,
moderation.
yeah. Okay. And they puff up pretty good. I think they definitely puff up with the egg. They don't expand as much without the egg.
do you put like a fingerprint in yours? Like as you're like forming it, do you then put like a fingerprint in it, or or do you do that with a spoon?
I'm probably gonna do it with a spoon just because mine's a little bit stickier. Shannon, do you like jelly?
So I'm the weird one that if it isn't chocolate or cheesecake, I don't want it sweet. I don't like sweet anything if it isn't chocolate or cheesecake.
That's interesting.
That is
Well,
interesting.
that's why I could care less about the baked goods. If it's a cake or a pie or a cookie, I could care less about it. But if it's here in the house and I'm hungry for something, it'll be the cookie because it's on the counter. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't bake because I don't want it around.
Yeah,
But yet I don't miss it. Like if it's not around, I'm not looking for cookies or cakes or pies.
I know what you mean. That's why I used to live with a professional chef. My roommate, she was a chef, and
Ooh.
it was awesome.
Right?
It was so awesome. She would make these like pies and like cookies and like muffins. She would make like a no bake cheesecake.
Ooh, I'm
Yeah,
in it for cheesecake.
yep. It was so great. Okay. I definitely think I need to invest in like a utensil to like make these cookies.
You don't have a KitchenAid or anything?
Like a what?
Do you have like a KitchenAid?
I don't. I normally just do it with my fingers, but seeing that it's just not that convenient.
They're not too bad, but most things I make in a KitchenAid because it's just so much faster.
Yeah.
Sticky.
Okay, I'm almost done. I did double my recipe, so it's just gonna take me a little bit longer. But these don't have to be in there for too long. Shannon, is there anything that you have questions about, whether it's like food related, like cooking techniques?
My thing is trying to get my protein intake like tripled because apparently I'm not eating enough protein, even though I feel like I'm eating a lot of protein because I'm always trying to be keto based and it needs to either be God made food. Um, like anything that's whole food, God made food, I can eat whatever I want, but the man made food is what I limit. I put meat in the God made side
Mm-hmm.
and I eat a lot of keto meals and keto type of foods, but when we calculated up my food mood poop journal thing, I'm drastically under on protein. So I want
Okay.
to find all those things of, how do I add cottage cheese to all my recipes? How do I add protein powder and not make the thing taste yucky? And, you know,
Do you like cottage cheese?
I do.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
from Wisconsin, so anything that has cheese in the name, we're good.
Okay. Um, so tell me about like breakfast. Like, what do you see or what do you eat now for breakfast?
Eggs and meat. So you would think that would be keto friendly or protein friendly.
It is. Are you making that yourself or are you buying it out?
Um, most of the time well, no, let's see. In reality, I sell credit card processing for a living and restaurant point of sales is my number one product.
Uh-huh.
So I'll go to a restaurant, I'll order, corned beef hash and eggs or I'll order an omelet that has a lot of veggies and meat and cheese, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't even order the toast, or if I order the toast, I'll eat one half of a slice kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. 'Cause I'm not a toast person to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So why not avoid it? I will eat the hash browns though, so there's carbs. Um, but yeah, I eat a lot of breakfast in restaurants, but again, it's eggs and meat and cheese, eggs and meat and cheese and hash brown kind of breakfasts.
Okay. So the best way to just make that like more keto, because hash browns are pretty high in carbohydrates. Um, it's just to omit the hash browns altogether.
Right. Maybe I
Yeah,
can ask them for a side of cottage cheese in place of the hash browns.
right. That's great. Or avocado. I don't know if like these places serve avocado and bacon, a little bacon
So
on the side.
I thought avocado was the healthy fat, but not protein. Is it protein?
Not protein. It's not protein, but it is healthy fat, so
Right,
it's a good combo to the
right,
protein,
right.
and that will help with satiety. But you can always add like some bacon. I mean, bacon is kind of a processed meat, but as you're getting going, you get going with everything. But didn't you just say that meat inflames your body?
No, I'm saying that my body loves veggies.
Oh, your body
Like
loves it. Okay.
the more veggies I eat, the happier my body runs.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not that my body doesn't like meat because I love meat and my body, likes meat fine. But the more veggies I give it, the happier my digestive system is and my energy.
That totally makes sense. Okay. So then, yeah, so like eggs, you can get some bacon, the cheese, like an omelet, things that have like omelets.
Yep.
Um, you like eggs, right?
That's what I just said I eat every morning. Eggs
Like,
and meat.
okay, yeah. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked.
A little side. Yep.
Okay, so I'm almost done. My cookies did not come out very pretty. But that's okay. We're not going for looks here. We're going for taste. Okay. Is that helpful? So like that in the morning, so that's keto. No hash browns. So we'll cut the carbs there. And then tell me about lunch.
This is the problem I have. Eating in various restaurants that are never chains because chains aren't potential clients.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck with whatever menu I have in front of me. And sometimes, like you order a salad and you're so stinking.
Oh, Shannon, I think you muted yourself.
My mom just called.
Oh,
She's waiting for me to get on the card game. Sorry, on a Zoom. Boom. Okay. So burgers. A lot of times it'll be more diner places. What do you eat
mm-hmm.
at a diner? A burger. So I'll order a salad. And then instead of getting the chicken on the salad, I'd rather have the burger because usually the chicken is all dried out and you never know what you're going to get. I get a lot of
Yeah.
crap salads at places. And a lot of times I avoid putting meat on the salad because it's not good, you
Yeah.
know? But my favorite thing to do is to put a burger patty on a salad. And, like I'll do the Big Mac salad
Mm-hmm.
or, things like that. Or I'll do, if they have any of the salads that have steak on them, I'll order those.
Uh-huh.
I do like chicken. I'm just not in love with it anymore. Like I used to, I overdid it in my early 20s with chicken was like every meal, not by choice.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I'm a little over it with chicken, but I get like Mediterranean salads and Greek salads, and I love all different ethnic foods. That's the beauty of eating out a lot too, is I get to go to Indian places
Ooh,
and I
yeah.
actually have a lot of Mexican places though, and I'm a sucker for anything that crunches. So crunchy tacos and quesadillas and flautas and chips and salsa, and so I get a lot of carbs in the Mexican places. And I have a lot of Mexican restaurants, but yeah. And the hard part's
That is so
eating in the
good.
restaurants for lunch and dinner and doing it well.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Mexican food, we do have a guide in eating out while trying to heal your gut. Um, and I can definitely send that to you. Tiffany can also, she's going to be amazing. She's going to help guide you through that process. But I'll definitely send that to you. And that way you can check it out because Mexican food's kind of hard
It's
to
gotta
get
be,
without carbs.
right?
Yeah, that one's a tough one.
Especially
Indian
when
food
they
is
bring you
easy.
chips and salsa to start with,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to turn that down because you never know how long it's going to take them to bring you food. And I'm usually hungry by the time I'm ordering.
Yeah. Um,
They usually do guacamole and chips, which they told me today was not a good combo because I needed to add the protein.
yeah. So more
I wonder
protein.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I wonder if I should order fajitas and have them hold the tortillas
That is a great idea.
because I love chips and I'm a sucker for anything that crunches. So I'm not going to give up the chips when I'm there, but
Mhm.
maybe I get fajitas and then ask them for like like a queso cheese, and then I can chip and dip it with the meat and the queso cheese with the meat in it or something like that.
That's a good idea.
That way I'm getting all the meat and the veggies from the fajitas,
Uh-huh.
but yet
More protein and
yeah.
less carbs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That
I'll
works.
still be eating the chips, but not giving up the chips, guys.
Not giving up the chips. So I used half blueberry jam, organic blueberry jam. This one I just got from my local store. This is preserves, wild blueberry preserves. Is that the same
Oh,
as jam?
is that the little thumbprint cookies that have jam in the middle of the thumbprint?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally wouldn't even like them
Aw.
because I don't like, like that would be a cookie I would avoid.
Oh.
Too funny.
No. You're the second
Yeah.
person that's told me that today.
Yep. I'm not in it for jellies ever.
So
It's
I'm
too
not
sweet.
either. I'm not either, but um have you ever seen those boxed ones with the jelly in the middle? Have you ever seen those,
Yeah.
Shannon?
Yeah.
I used to love those when I was young, and so when I saw these, I'm like, ooh, this is like holiday, and these cookies look beautiful. Mine do not look like that. Um, and so I'm like, this will be a good one. And you're the second person that's told me that they don't like jelly.
Nope.
Gotta say though, do you like peanut butter and jelly? Because the almond flour actually gives it kind of that taste, like a nut and jam. So it has a little bit, it's not like
Ooh,
a super sweet cookie.
I
So
like peanut butter and chocolate, so I could put a Hershey Kiss in there instead of jelly.
yeah, or like they like make Lily's chocolate or whatever that has it's pretty low sugar
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in there. And it just
Cacao chips.
yeah, because it's
Cacao
a
chips.
I already tried the dough because I'm that kind of person when I cook. It's like a pretty not super sweet cookie, so the jam is the only sweet part.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I do like to use honey in the recipes because honey is not as sweet as maple syrup. So if you're somebody who like doesn't want something extremely sweet, that's a good go-to.
So I'll give you
Um,
a different perspective here for a second. Up
mhm.
here in Wisconsin, we make our own maple syrup, and it's only as sweet as you want it to be.
Oh, that's
I get
cool.
the maple syrups that are more buttery, and they're not sweet because I don't like sweet. So if I used maple syrup, it would be less sweet than if I used honey.
Oh, that's
You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, that's super cool. I didn't think about that too because maple syrup is more buttery. Shannon, you just blew my mind right now.
Sorry about that. My niece makes maple syrup, so I buy it from her. And
Wow.
the only time I ever eat it is on those rare occasions where I'm forced to eat a waffle. My husband lives for carbs. This is the problem. My husband's I don't want to take up all your time, but my husband's dad had strep throat that he didn't treat, and the virus from the strep throat went to his kidneys and killed his kidneys. So he had to be on dialysis for 26 years until he died.
Oh,
And
wow.
and she was um a young mom with these three toddlers and trying to deal with her husband needing dialysis. So the problem with dialysis is its job is to filter out all those things. Well, she wasn't allowed to make healthy food because if she made healthy food, his body couldn't process it and the dialysis couldn't do it fast enough. They had a dialysis unit in their house,
Hmm.
but the doctor supposedly, pulled her and you're going to kill your husband if you feed him like that kind of thing. And she had to boil and drain and rinse and boil and drain and rinse and boil and drain and rinse potatoes before she could mash them and serve them
Oh,
because
man.
they would be completely devoid of nutrition for him to eat them. And she chose to feed her kids the same food, whatever husband ate, we all ate. So they all grew up with crap, but yet processed foods that came in boxes and whatever they could have because she didn't have to, make them for anybody or whatever.
Hmm.
So they grew up on and lived on anything processed, all things processed.
No.
Yes. And he detests anything vegetable. So me trying to cook for him, I don't get the vegetables that I want to get, which I guess I could make them for myself only, and I do sometimes, but yeah, it's a weird dynamic when it comes to food in my house right now.
Yeah, that is really tough. And I find that in clients that I see in couples or one person's in the program and one's not. And it's tough to navigate that. Um, the best thing that I've seen that works for other clients is starting off slow. And the reason why vegetables taste so gross to them is because of their gut bacteria. And I don't know if you know this, Shannon, but their gut bacteria determines like the taste, how things taste.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just got to get more of that good gut bacteria. And it is difficult because their palates are just so used to over salt, over sweetened things. They don't
Yep.
really know any other taste palates. So anything that's remotely bitter tastes awful.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll pick it out. He literally will pick it out.
Yeah. Smoothies are the best way to hide things and make them taste good.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we have some excellent recipes on smoothies and anything with a banana, as long as I wouldn't put anything green yet until you warm them up to it. Um, but we have a lot of fruit smoothies in there, so at least he's getting some of those micronutrients and fruits. Does he like fruit? Your husband?
Probably. We don't eat a lot of fruit either just because of high glycemic, and I'm always watching my sugar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we do, yeah, he'll eat them. He won't, like, I always have, like, I have apples and grapefruits and lemons in the house, usually all the time. But he doesn't eat them. That's me. He might have an apple. I'll get strawberries too.
Those are great. Yeah, strawberries,
But I can't
blueberries,
think of,
raspberries.
yeah. Oh, he loves, wait. You just sparked a memory. So he loves berries, like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, any of that stuff, but he eats it on ice cream every day. He is the reason I eat as much ice cream as I eat because he eats ice cream every single day.
Oh no.
I'm not kidding. You saw on my thing how much ice cream I eat. It's because bring him a bowl of ice cream every day. And then I can't help but eat it too.
Have some. I know. That's so tough. Um, I even have, I think I made a recipe for ice cream.
That's what
Um,
I told him I wanted for Christmas was an ice cream maker. So I
that
could
would be
use
cool.
Greek yogurt. Right? If I'm going to eat it, I might as well make it better. So I can use Greek yogurt. I can maybe even hide some cottage cheese in there. Whatever I can do to get the protein up and turn it into ice cream.
That is so smart, Shannon. Way to go on getting
Woo,
creative.
woo, woo.
No, that's
Well,
so
and you
smart.
know why I did that? Because I did the food, poop, and mood journal, and I was like, man, I'm eating too much ice cream, and I know it. And I would love to eat healthier ice cream, but I had one of those shake ball things, and that was way too much work for a tiny little thing of ice cream. So I took a picture of a thing at Walmart, and I'm like, look, honey, it's an ice cream maker, and I can make healthy ice cream. Which, of course, then he's like, nah, but he doesn't have to eat the healthy stuff. He can keep eating the crap he eats.
Yeah. Over time, I think he'll be more open to it. Like once he starts to see you feeling so good and you're loving it, he's gonna be
Right.
a little curious, and then he's gonna be like, all right, that tastes good. I feel good. And
Hopefully.
then it'll be like a little snowball effect.
I hope so.
What's y'all's go-to? Well, what's his go-to dessert in the holidays? Because I know you're a cheesecake person.
Yeah,
He is a 100% sweets person. Anything sweets. Cookies, cakes, pies, you name it, he will eat it if it's sweets, unless there's peanut butter. Not a peanut butter fan.
Okay. Some of these recipes might be really fun to try out with him then.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Try out together. So I actually want to pull that up and I will go through it with you. So if you have any questions,
Oh, you're looking up sweets recipes?
I'm going to show you the recipe that I made that Anna will be sending out to you
Oh, for tonight.
for tonight. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Let me pull this up
I'm
on my screen. So I put the cookies in for 12 minutes. It does say like 10 to 12, and for me with my oven, 12 minutes works best. Okay. Can you should see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. These look good, right? Powdered sugar, yummy goodness. I know
I
you're not
thought they
like
had
this.
dollops of jam on the top.
So this is a full-on recipe book that I created. So this does have the jam one, but it has like 10 other recipes in here with cookies and baked goods. I was gonna make this one, but it was gonna take an hour to make and so many more ingredients and steps. And I was like, this is way too advanced. This one's a pecan chocolate chunk. This one's pretty yummy as well. And you
I
can
love
always
pecans.
substitute. Mm-hmm. Um, so most of these are gonna be, I think all of them are gluten-free. I think one of them does have like oats in it. So if anybody is sensitive to gluten, I would encourage no oats. But look, pumpkin snickerdoodle cookie. Who
That looks
says,
interesting.
right?
I love pumpkin. And snickerdoodle and pumpkin, that's curious. I would love to try that.
Yeah, this one, I'm not a big fan of pumpkin, but I love snickerdoodle. So
Right?
who knows what this combo is going to be like. But for the all-purpose gluten-free flour, I like to use Bob's Red Mill flour. I don't know if you have that option, Shannon, at your
I do. I do.
Cool.
Bob's Red Mill, we do.
Okay. Air fryer pumpkin breakfast cookie.
Oh my.
Here's my little raspberry thumbprint cookies. They
Yeah.
put 3 tablespoons. I use more, like, than 3 tablespoons. I don't know how. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, look how small these cookies are. They're so tiny. Mine are a little bit bigger.
Mine are a lot bigger too.
Right? Like, that's for like a baby. Tahini carrot oat cookies. So like these aren't gonna be completely gluten free, even if you get gluten free oats. Um, they still might have some gluten, but tahini is one of those like it's from I think it's from
Chickpeas.
sunflower seeds.
Oh, I thought it was chickpeas.
No, tahini is sunflower seeds. It's I actually have some. Or maybe I don't. Yes, I do. Okay. Tahini ground sesame seeds.
Oh.
Yeah. And it has like a nice like nutty taste, so I think this will be like really fun to make. Banana walnut chocolate chip cookies. I feel like chocolate chip I was gonna make, but yeah, I'm gonna get a little creative this time. These are a little out there for some people who don't know.
Matcha.
Matcha.
Actually,
So I love matcha. Have you ever had matcha, Shannon?
Yes.
Do you like it?
Not a ton.
I love matcha. Okay, so
I'll drink matcha tea
matcha tea.
as long as it's not super strong. Like when I've ordered matcha tea, if I'm out, like Starbucks or whatever, and then I don't like it because it's usually way too strong. But when I make it myself, then I like it.
Yeah, I like to make it myself. And mine are done. I showed the camera what they look like. I'm curious to see what hers look like since I don't have an egg.
I can show you. They're still in the oven because somehow I missed the whole putting them in the oven part.
Sorry, I wasn't like putting it in the oven now.
Oh, I was just wait a second. So I'm just gonna show you in the oven. I don't think the texture, like I've made raspberry thumbprints like non-gluten free and gluten free, and I think the texture is pretty solid. Like it looks pretty. Don't mind me. Just they obviously need to cook some more, but they're good. They're gonna be a little more flaky, is my guess, than chewy. But it's fine, flaky. I think without the egg is fine. But if you want them probably chewy, then you might want to put the egg in because they definitely look like they'll be flaky. So it'll be a messy cookie for my son, but everything's messy with his face.
Yeah, mine came out flaky last time when I didn't use an egg. So I was like, is it just me or is it the recipe? So, yeah, but Shannon, I'm with you. I like making matcha on my own. Tastes way better.
Yeah.
So this will be a fun cookie, but I was like, I thought about making these too. But again, they took like a long time, and who wants to get caffeinated at night? Matcha has caffeine, so I didn't want to wire people up before bedtime. Soft lemon blueberry cookies.
Love lemon.
You love lemon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of lemon, but sometimes if it's made right, I'm like, okay, I like it.
That's the thing. If it's real lemon and you can tell when they fake lemon it up, it's never good.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. No bake chocolate cookies. These might be right up your alley, Shannon. And peanut butter. Boom. because you like peanut butter. Coconut
I
macaroon.
do. I make
Um,
macaroons. They're easy. Easiest thing you ever make in your life.
really?
Macaroons? Heck yeah.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, there are only 3 ingredients. Wow. Gingerbread protein cookies. Hey, look at that. Use your protein powder.
Mm.
Chocolate chip peanut butter chickpea cookies. These are date cookies. Again, matcha coconut macaroons. That will be fun. Chocolate banana cookies. Lemon oat cookies. Amaretti cookies. Chocolate cherry. Chocolate and zucchini oat. Pumpkin cinnamon breakfast. Peanut butter. Buckwheat. Buckwheat is another flour. It does taste pretty good. It's kind of grainy if you've never had it before. Um, but that's a good one. Coconut shortbread.
Gluten-free.
That one is gluten free. Yes, that is gluten free.
The name is non-intuitive to that. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. That is weird. I thought like buckwheat, it's not like regular wheat. You could also substitute this with einkorn flour, which is another wheat, but it is like the OG of wheat. It's not, it hasn't been crossbreeded, so your stomach can digest it a lot better. And I really love that. I have clients who use that and they feel completely fine digestive wise. So yeah, just wanted to go through these. There's so many options. Like eating healthy does not mean eating boring, bland food. Like you can absolutely have some like really yummy, delicious holiday stuff. Um, we just gotta get a little creative. So Anna will send this recipe book out after the workshop.
We'll come tomorrow.
Cool. So I'm gonna try these on the call. Okay. I'm gonna try one. So it's like it's very sturdy and it's like really bouncy and I really
Wow.
like that.
Mine are not gonna be like
Mine
that.
was small. Look, I didn't use as much jelly as you did. I was like, I'm gonna put a little jelly. And they're nice and like gooey in the middle. So
Yeah.
mine are gooey.
Should have done the egg.
That's okay. That's okay. I
Well,
still
yours
like them.
aren't done yet. Hers aren't done yet, though, right? We don't know what yours are going to look like when they're
So I'm
done.
just predicting. They'll be done in a minute and 10 seconds, but I'm just predicting.
Well, plus you had the oven door open for a bit, which is not good in the middle of the cooking. You might need a little more time,
I'm kind of like a bad baker, honestly. I'm much better at cooking because I'm
right?
yeah, as I go. I'm not very good at baking. But I figure you can't mess these up. Like as long as like I figure. I could be wrong. We'll see. But I don't think you can mess these up.
You know, that's funny that you say that though, because my sister, she has a crazy sweet tooth like her dad, but she doesn't bake well because she doesn't measure. And I'm sorry, baking requires measurement and like being really good with exact measurement kind of thing a lot of times because of the chemistry involved. So
Yes, that is
people like me who follow directions to a T, if I'm baking, if I'm cooking, I don't because I know better, you know, but baking, I sure follow directions to a T.
Me too.
me not. It's okay. Everything mostly turns out okay.
I think with cooking, like there's so much variance. I forget like what I did last time, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't come out the same. But with baking, it's a structure. So I'm like, if I get it right once and I nail the recipe, I can just replicate it.
So they're a little hot, obviously. The other thing I do is I have no problem touching hot things. My husband's always freaked out. Or eating hot things. I'll burn my tongue. But they're definitely more flaky. So you can see they're a little more flaky.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be like a good, I don't know. I like a flaky cookie with a cup of tea. So that's what I'll be doing.
Ooh, I like a mushy cookie.
Chewier.
I can say if it was a like chocolate chip cookie, then I would be mad if it was flaky, but it would be fine.
Do you think your little one will love it? He'll eat it.
And he unfortunately knows what sugar is, and he has a sweet tooth.
Oh,
We really did try.
Noah's so cute.
And stuff like that, where you try to like introduce the taste buds to things less sugary, but it's okay. He likes sugary things, so I just try to like, if it's gotta be sugary, I try to make it more natural, maple syrup
Yeah.
or like even like yogurt, you could just mix like plain yogurt with honey together and stuff. And it
Yeah.
well, so
He's a little ball of sunshine.
Oh,
So
he's 2.
oh, my son is too. Everybody always talks about terrible twos, and I hate that they say that. And we would always say terrific twos, terrific twos.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's hard things, but like someone told me once, like your kid, like imagine being a person that's just like dropped on this planet with no context. Like you got to figure out the world. Like it doesn't just make sense. So
Right?
Just make that.
1, 2, 3 magic was my favorite thing. It was life-changing. There's there's 2 video series called 1, 2, 3 Magic for parenting kids of any age, but especially when they're young like that. 1, 2, 3 is the bomb.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Shayla,
That's awesome.
I'm curious before you finish up this call, what are like your top 3 gluten-free baking tips?
Top 3 gluten-free baking tips, like recipes or just tips on cooking?
Like tips on, because like gluten-free is sometimes hard. So like, what are some things that you find to make gluten-free baking more successful? Or if
That's good.
healthy baking more successful?
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely the flour, like finding a flour that you really love. Um, I personally just use almond flour because I'm allergic to coconut. But if I wasn't allergic to coconut, I would absolutely use coconut because I think that it holds better. It's just better for baking. Um,
What about chickpea powder or flour?
Chickpea flour is good as well. It is heavier on the carbs. So if you're looking to create like a healthy,
Oh,
low carb one, I like almond flour, but chickpea flour is also really good. There's also sweet potato flour, tiger nut flour, banana nut flour, and sorry, not banana nut, green banana flour. And they all kind of like taste different. They all have their own texture. So I think narrowing down like what you really like is going to be important. And um, I would say also to like my go-to, like I said, is honey. I've even done a no-bake cheesecake, a vegan cheesecake, and instead of using cheese, I used macadamia nuts and I blended them and like pureed them. And then I laid it on top, and the base was a date bread instead of like an actual bread. It was just dates. And then I froze blueberries on top, and then drizzled like honey, and that worked really well. So I think it's just kind of like exploring new things. You're not going to like everything at once, but having an open mind is going to be super valuable to like baking, especially. Um, I would say those are my top tips that I've learned from like a healthier, conscious perspective in baking.
Yeah,
you know what I did for a year? I went through a phase where I had a juicer machine, and I would juice all these vegetables and fruits and whatever. And then the pulp, I didn't want to go to waste. So I would
Mhm.
save the pulp, and then I was making muffins and cookies and stuff all the time using the pulp because all your nutrients are there too. And they made really good muffins and cookies and stuff. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so creative. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then
Um,
it was 100% used. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you're not throwing away all that valuable pulp. But I don't like eating all the baked goods. So it was like I got real sick of baking all the time and eating muffins and cookies and things I don't like. Not that I don't like, but I don't, whatever. I like to crunch.
Yeah,
Give me
you
crunch.
love the crunch.
I do.
That's so funny. Yeah, I hope this workshop was helpful. Um, do you two have any questions moving forward?
no, I think I'm good. Good cookies tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're totally good, Shannon.